The Stanford Prison Experiment was an experiment conducted in 1971 by Dr. Philip Zimbardo, using college students representing the roles of prisoners and guards. This experiment was scheduled to last around 2 weeks, but only made it to 6 days due to the extreme events that occurred. As the plot develops, the prisoners begin to fear the guards, allowing themselves to be degraded and obeying the commands. The guards showed questioning behaviors as well. When they discovered that they truly had all of the power, they became, as the prisoners put it, fascist pigs. Prisoner 1037 is denied parole because of previous made-up charges. Even though he knows that he is innocent, he agrees with the court that because of his actions, he was destined to become prison scum. The prisoners performed actions that the guards commanded, even when these actions went against their beliefs. It didn't take long for most of the prisoners to conform. They learned how to stay out of the spotlight and tried their best to keep it that way. For example, when the guards confiscated the prisoners' beds, the first cell used them as a barricade. The second cell fought tooth and nail, but the third cell willingly handed over the mattresses. This can also be observed when the prisoners are eating breakfast and the new prisoner, who had replaced prisoner 8612, refused to eat. You can see the concerned looks on their faces. Dr. Zimbardo said so himself at the beginning of the movie that the reason for the uniforms and roles were to de-individuate the participants. This begins to show through when certain guards start to become the alpha males. They lose their sense of self and begin to assume the role of prison guard. Prisoner 8612 was the first prisoner to display anger and aggression. It started with curses and profanity, and then ended in physical attacks. He was also the first to leave the experiment. As the experiment progressed, the prisoners started to exhibit submissive behaviors. They kept their heads down, avoided eye contact, spoke in clear, respectful tones, and allowed themselves to endure the treatment inflicted on them in order to avoid a more severe punishment, even though there was no real proof one existed. The first prisoner started to act manic once he asked to be released from the program and was denied. His amygdala activated the fight-or-flight response in him, and he became desperate to escape. Overall, the Stanford Prison Experiment is an intriguing part of psychological history, and I believe that the 2015 film depiction of it really brings to life how bizarre human behavior is, and that even after nearly 50 years, it is still hard to believe the events which occurred in the basement of Stanford University.